Because when I lift up, my shoulder's going to move back, and then eventually it's going to hit the edge of the blanket. Whereas if I were to start with my shoulder at the edge of the blanket, it would probably roll off of the blanket, and then we'd be putting more pressure in the neck, which would be silly. And then the black is going to go under here, which restorative-wise, this is amazing. I think everyone should try this at least once, just for the sake of restoration. In fact, we were doing restorative. I'd flip it up one more time. It's magic. So let's assume we're not doing the restorative variation and focus on lifting up. So this is what I was talking about. If your forearms are off the ground, look how much higher away my arms are. So this is a great test to see if you're pushing your shoulders or not, and through your arm or not. Because if you're not, your wrists are going to start to bend, and your fingers are going to kind of come up like this, and the palms will be away. Whereas if you're using Hasta Bandha, and you're really pushing down through your fingertips, even though my palms aren't on the floor, I'm still using hand lock. And that hand lock is going to engage the forearms, and then I can better focus on the pressure in the shoulders. So this whole arm is really pressing down, and I'm spreading the fingers super wide, and really like I'm palming a basketball or reaching for an octave on a piano. That's what my hands are doing. Then I'm going to squeeze my thighs together to create my fin, my merfin. And I'm going to start squeezing my thighs to help engage the pelvic floor. Remember, this adduction will increase the potential of activation in the core. So when I start to lift, I'm going to keep my arms on the floor as a stabilizer until I'm up in the pose. So this is going to be my inhale, my preparation. As I exhale, I'm really going to squeeze the thighs, engage the belly, press through the arms. Move the legs back a little bit to help lift the hips, and then press yourself up. From here, hands go to the lower back, and then maybe do a little shifting of the shoulders or elbows if necessary. I'm going to push through my shoulders as much as I can to take tension out of the neck. So that double blanket is going to help to elongate the neck even more. Now one leg is going to drop back, and the other leg is going to reach out. And the leg that drops could touch the floor, it absolutely does not have to. If you're kind of tight, a little bit in the knee is going to be okay. You're probably still going to feel a big pull through your hamstrings. But more than anything, we're focusing on that lifted leg, pushing it up toward the ceiling. Then you would, again, lift, 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 lift out. So I don't know if you can kind of see if I'm kind of in my starting position versus what I look like when I start lifting through the lifted leg. It's a pretty big shift. So let's just go all the way to shoulder stand. Okay, so we've done one leg each side. I'm going to come back to my shoulder stand. And now I'm going to begin moving my pelvis toward my block, which is going to kind of put me in the zigzag shape. And then I'm going to start lowering my legs, which is going to lift my butt toward the ceiling. And I might be here, maybe, ooh, this is intense today, maybe I can touch down, but I'm focusing on keeping my back longer. So once I find a good place for my legs, I don't know if you saw, I kind of like lifted a little bit more. So I'm back in more of a shoulder stand sense. Rather than a round back, I'm going to try to lengthen my spine further. And then you can keep your hands here for support, or place your fingers and press down. So let's say the first side, well, for the demo for the first side, let's say I'm really tight, and I'm here. Or maybe I'm not even tight, maybe this is just my anatomy and I'm here in plough pose. So I'm going to keep my hands at my lower back, and I'm going to use my core to twist me to the left, and then maybe I find I have a lot more tension in my left shoulder, so I'm going to start pushing through my right shoulder to balance it out. And again, I don't know if you see, everything in my spine and pelvis kind of readjusts. Come back through center. Now let's say I'm a different person, and for this person the toes are down and maybe they practice with their arms pressing down. You could use your core to pick up the feet and go over, or you could even walk your feet. Either would be fine. And then I'm going to push through the shoulders equally again. I feel like when the feet are down, it's easier to see that difference. Here I'm kind of resting in my right shoulder. Here I'm pushing through both shoulders equally. And we'll come back through center. And if you would like to add ear pressure pose into your practice,
Now's the time. Bend knees. I actually can't get my knees to my ears very well, so my ear pressure pose is more like cheekbone pressure pose or temple pressure pose, and that's okay too. But now my spine is actually in flexion, and I'm not going to be there very long. I'm going to lengthen, press down through my arms, or keep my hands in the lower back for support, and slowly keeping my legs close to the body. Roll all the way down. Once the pelvis finds the block, knees to chest, nose to knees. Always follow nose to knees.